Hi guys, I'm back. It's Saturday night and it's snowing. It's snowing a lot. Um, it started snowing here about 4 o'clock for anyone that's listening that doesn't live around here. And we're supposed to get feet of snow, inches of snow. So I hope that you all stay in and stay warm and get lots of groceries in the house because people always buy everything at the store and you want to make sure you get to eat, right? Okay, I'm going to read 2 stories tonight and about snow. So this book is out of our Christmas story book and it's called Christmas Under the Snow. I want to say hi to Mary and Chippy, Natalie, Jack, Devin, Dylan, Lila, Lucy, Lincoln maybe, Jordan if you're out there, Addison, lots of kids. I like to read to lots of kids. So let's get some people listening. This is called Christmas Under the Snow. It was just before Christmas, and Mr. Barnes was starting for the nearest village. "Don't forget the Christmas dinner, Papa," said Willie. "Especially the chickens for the pie," put in Nora. "And the waisins," piped up little Tot. "I hate to have you go, George," said Mrs. Barnes anxiously. "It looks to me like a storm. If there is a bad storm, stay in the village till it is over. We can get alone for a few days, can't we, Willie?" "Oh, yes, Papa, I can take care of Mama," said Willie. "Well, Willie, I depend on you to take care of Mama and to get a Christmas dinner if I don't get back." That was Papa's last words as the faithful old horse started. This must have been back in the old days, like Little House on the Prairie. Mrs. Barnes looked to where a low, heavy bank of clouds was slowly rising and went into the snug little log cabin. "Willie," she said, "I'm sure there's going to be a storm. You'd better prepare enough wood for two to 3 days." "I wish the village was not so far off," said Willie as he came in with his last load. Mrs. Barnes glanced out of the window. Broad, scattering snowflakes were silently falling. "So do I," she replied anxiously, "or that Papa did not have to come over that dreadful prairie." A prairie is like a big, wide open space, you know? There's no wind block, so the snow just blows. Supper was soon eaten and cleared away, the fire carefully covered up, and the whole little family quietly in bed. Then the storm came down upon them in earnest. The bleak wind howled. The white flakes came with it in millions and millions and hurled themselves upon that house. They piled up outside, covered the steps, and then the door, and then the windows, and then the roof, and at last buried it completely out of sight. Wow, now that's a lot of snow. I don't think we're going to get that much, do you? The night passed away and morning came, but no light broke through the windows. Mrs. Barnes woke at the usual time, but finding it still dark and perfectly quiet outside, she turned over to sleep again. At that moment the clock struck, and the truth flashed over her. Being buried under snow is no uncommon thing on the wide prairies. And since they had wood and cornmeal in plenty, Mrs. Barnes would not have been much alarmed if her husband had been home. But snow deep enough to bury them must cover up all landmarks, and she knew her husband would not rest till he had found them. See, it covers up all the roads and stuff like that, and the trails and the paths, so she was afraid he wouldn't find his way to them. "Willie," she said, "are you awake?" "Yes, Mama," said Willie. "Willie," said his Mama quietly, "I think I'm afraid we are snowed in. Light a candle and look out the window." Willie drew back the curtain. Snow was tightly banked up against it to the top. "Why, Mama," he said, How can Papa find us? And what shall we do? We must do the best we can, she said. Breakfast was taken by candlelight, dinner in the same way, and supper passed with no sounds from the outside world. It was hard to keep up the courage of the little household. Nora said that tonight was Christmas Eve, and no Christmas dinner was to be had. A thought struck Willie that he was sure would cheer up the rest. He brought out of a corner of the attic an old box trap, set it carefully on the snow, and scattered crumbs of cornbread. In half an hour he went up again and found to his delight that he had caught a rabbit, which had come to find food. The rabbit was quietly laid to rest, and the trap was set again. This time another rabbit was caught. This was the last of them, but the next catch was a couple of snowbirds. These Willie carefully placed in a corner of the attic, using the trap for a cage and giving them plenty of food and water. The snowbirds were to be Christmas presents for the girls, and the rabbits were to make a pie. As for plum pudding, of course, that couldn't be thought of. "But don't you think, Mama," said Willie eagerly, when the girls were fast asleep with tears on their cheeks for the dreadful Christmas they were going to have, "that you should make some sort of a cake? And wouldn't hickory nuts be good in it? You know I have some left up in the attic," he said. "Well, perhaps so," said Mama, "if I only had some eggs. But I have heard that snow beaten into cake, snow, like snow outside, I have heard that snow beaten into cake would make it light, and there's snow enough, I'm sure." Willie cracked the nuts, then prepared the two rabbits, which were to be their Christmas dinner. "Merry Christmas," he called out to Nora and Tot when they woke in the morning. "See what Santa has brought you." Before they had time to think, the girls each received their presents. A live bird that was never to be kept in a cage, but would fly about the house till summer came, and then go away if it wished. Ooh, that would be fun. Pets were scarce on the prairie, and the girls were delighted. They thought no more of the dinner, but hurried to dress themselves and feed the birds, which were now quite tame from hunger. But after a while they saw preparations for dinner too. Mama made a crust and lined a deep dish. Then she brought something like chicken and put it in the dish with the crust and set it to bake. And that was not all. Mama got out some more cornmeal and put in some sugar and the nuts, and then Willie brought her a cup of snow, which she beat into the cake, while the children laughed at the idea of making a cake out of snow. They went into the same oven, and pretty soon the cake rose up light, while the pie was sending out the most delicious odors. At the last minute, when the table was set and everything was ready, Willie ran to look out of the Arctic sky. In a moment, there came a wild shout down the ladder. "It's Papa!" "Willie," a voice called back over the snow, "is all well?" "All well," shouted Willie, "and just going to have our Christmas dinner." "Dinner?" echoed Papa. "Where is the house, then?" "Oh, down here," said Willie, "under the snow." "Well, my son," said Papa, once he had climbed into the house, "you did take care of Mama and get a dinner out of nothing, which I am sure is delicious." So it proved to be. Even the snow pudding, which was voted very nice. So it proved to be even the snow pudding, which was voted very nice. When they had finished, Mr. Barnes added his Christmas presents to Willie's, but nothing was quite so nice in their eyes as the two live birds. After dinner, Papa and Willie dug out passages through the snow. Then Willie made tunnels and little rooms under the snow. And for 2 weeks, while the snow lasted, Nora and Tot had fine times in the little snow playhouse. That's kind of cool, huh? Whoops, I dropped it. I got one more. That would be a whole lot of snow. Wow. Never seen that much snow. And I've lived a lot of years. This one is a book that Natalie gave me to read, and it's called The Snowmen Popup book. And I think it's going to be beautiful. It's by Carolyn Buhner and Mark Buhner. And I bet it's going to be very, very pretty. And it's very appropriate for tonight, huh? Oh, wow. One wintry day I made a snowman, very round and tall. The next day, when I saw him, he was not the same at all. His hat had slipped, his arms drooped down. He really looked a fright. It made me start to wonder, what do snowmen do at night? Oh, look at this. This is a beautiful book. See, it's a snowman. It's a pop-up book. And he's putting the carrot nose on him, see? Oh my, guys. I think that snowmen start to slide when it really gets dark. Off the lawn and down the street, right into the park. Whoa, look at this. Can you see it? Now this is a book. Look at that. Wow. It's a beautiful book, Natalie. Then the snowman games begin. They line up in their places, each one anxious for his turn in the snowman races. Sometimes they start giggling, and then they act like clowns. They bump into each other till they all fall down. Look at those guys. Can you see them? No one knows just how it starts, but soon it's quite a sight, with snowmen throwing snowballs in the world's best snowball fight. Oh, that's cool. Look at that. Then it's time for sledding. It's a wild ride down the hill. Wahoo! They yell. This is by far the snowman's biggest thrill. That's funny. Look at him go. See? Look at him go. That's cool. You see that? This is a great book. I wish all of them were like this. So, if your snowman's grin is crooked, or he's lost a little height, you'll know he's just been doing what snowmen do at night. Look at that. That is so pretty. I love this book. And that is the end. And I wonder if snowmen do that at night. You think they go out and play by themselves? I don't know. Be like Frosty, huh? So I'm glad you were here to listen to me tonight. And if you want to leave a comment or suggest a book, you can do that. You can do it under comments. Have Mommy or Daddy help you. And I'm going to go eat now. I haven't had supper yet. It's getting late, but I will be back hopefully tomorrow night to read you another story. Natty gave me some books, so I'm going to go through her books, and then hopefully I can get some Christmas books from Devin or Dylan or Lila or Lucy, because I've read all of mine now. But anyway, be good, sleep tight, don't forget to say your prayers before bed, and say one for me, and I'll see you tomorrow. I love you guys. You're in my heart.